Rinda ubuzima bwawe n'ubwa mugenzi wawe, tugira igihugu kizira ibiyobyabwenge. Rubyiruko, nimwe musingi ukomeye w'igihugu. Radio Imanzi, 105.1 FM.
We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
You are tuned to Radio Imanzi broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame this afternoon received letters of credence from new ambassadors. The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, has commenced the in-country implementation of the Saving Lives and Livelihoods initiative to accelerate COVID-19 vaccination across the country. The Kenya Electoral Commission has said 12.65 million Kenyans had voted by 4 p.m. with only 1 hour left to the official polling station's closing time of 5 p.m. Welcome back. Now, news in detail. President Paul Kagame this afternoon received letters of credence from new ambassadors Wang Zukun of the People's Republic of China and new High Commissioner Andrew Zumbe Kumwenda of the Republic of Malawi. The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, has commenced the in-country implementation of the Saving Lives and Livelihoods initiatives to accelerate COVID-19 vaccination across Rwanda. Gaston Chibigongo has this report.
The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, has commenced the in-country implementation of the Saving Lives and Livelihood initiative to accelerate COVID-19 vaccination across Rwanda. The initiative is a $1.5 billion partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, launched in June 2021 to purchase COVID-19 vaccine for more than 65 million people and support the delivery of vaccine across the continent. Previously, the initiative Urgent Support Program, more than 151,000 vaccine doses were delivered to Rwanda to support the country's COVID-19 vaccination effort. This time around, a total of $2 million of the fund have been provided to kickstart its implementation in Rwanda, with a target to reach more than 700,000 citizens, while strengthening the cold chain capacity and bolster 21 new COVID-19 vaccination centers in the northern, southern and western provinces to ensure COVID-19 vaccine accessibility and equity. The vaccination drive comes at a time when Rwanda starts vaccination rollout for children between 5 and 11 years old and administer a second booster doses to people aged 60 years and above. Health officials in Rwanda say that at least 70% have received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, 68% have already taken 2 doses, while 40% have taken their first booster dose. According to the coordinator of the Africa CDC Center for Eastern Africa, said the center is proud of the fact that Rwanda is among the countries leading in protecting their populations and as such should be supported.
Are launching this SLL as the cabinet has already announced to immunize children 5 to 11 years old, and also to provide booster dose for those 60 years old and above, and also for those 50 years old and above and are having non-communicable diseases. So actually Rwanda is targeting to reach at 86% at the end of this year. During the first phase for Rwanda, over $2 million USD is planned So there is some discussion going on with our colleagues from Rwanda today to see if we can bring the other supports also closer.
Rwanda is the third country in the Eastern Africa regional bloc to launch the SSL program, following Kenya and Ethiopia. And according to Africa CDC, the next countries are Uganda, Tanzania, and Comoros. Officially launching the initiative, Dr. Albert Tuyishime, head of the Disease Prevention and Control Department at Rwanda Biomedical Center, said that Africa needs vaccine equity with governance structure and that emphasize the strengthening of national, regional, and continental institutions.
An initiative to sensitize the residents of Kigali to subscribe to the community-based health insurance scheme Mutuelle de Santé has been put into action. Hugo Felix has this report.
This sensitization campaign has occurred as a result of a survey conducted by RSSB, where they point out that 3 districts of Kigali are lagging behind in regards to Mutuelle de Santé subscription. The campaign has been launched in Gasabo district as a collaborative effort between officials of Kigali city level, Gasabo district officials, as well as RSSB. Discussions were held by sector-level officials to determine what hindrances are keeping residents from fulfilling their Mutuelle de Santé pledges on time. It was observed that payment delays are not uncommon when it comes to health insurance, and it is pointed out that this occurrence is prompted by their low incomes. In addition to this, not knowing what category of the program people belongs to, that itself poses as a threat. The City of Kigali's Director of Public Health, Patricia Mukangarambe, said the findings in the survey point out that certain residents are unaware of their systematic social standing, and this is a problem they feel can be resolved by village leaders. They said that they asked them to approach those not in possession of their IDs and categorize them to determine who needs assistance. RSSB employee in Gasabo branch, Alexi Tuishime, says that from July to November, if 75% has been paid, getting health care is a small process. However, when the remaining 25% has not been paid by the end of December, access to medical services is revoked. Previously, 100% of the contribution had been fulfilled for a person to access medical care services. But today, when a payment is made, access is granted. RSSB points out that Mutuelle de Santé participation in Gasabo district is at 60%, a slight difference from last year's 53%. The city of Kigali says the program is in place and everyone is expected to have fulfilled their contribution by the end of September. Nationwide, participation in the Mutuelle de Santé health program stands at 74%, with Kayonza, Gisagara, and Nyaruguru in the lead. Felix reports.
Thank you, Felix. The plenary sitting of the Senate approved the relevance of the draft organic law on public finance management, which seeks to introduce changes in emergency budgeting and fiscal risk management, among others. This draft organic law is a revision of the current organic law on state finances and property enacted in September 2013. According to the government, the bill seeks to address the gaps identified through the analysis of the existing organic law. They are summarized under aspects including its narrowed scope, leading to issue of accountability and absence of boards of directors for public financial management matters in state-owned companies and specialized organs. Other issues include those related to budget management as well as fiscal risk associated with public corporations and public-private partnerships. Senator Pilaji Uwera appreciated the proposal, saying that allowing public entities to carry forward and spend funds into the next fiscal year could support them to expedite payment of outstanding amounts owed to suppliers or contractors. Moving on ahead, the use of cars with automatic transmissions during driving tests to acquire a driver's license has been provided for in the draft law governing road traffic. The development was revealed by Alfred Byiringiro, the Chief Technical Advisor in charge of transport at the Ministry of Infrastructure. Felix Hidgwa has more on this report.
The law on conducting driving license tests is still under stakeholder consultations and is expected to be amended by the end of fiscal year 2022-2023. Jirinjiro pointed out that learning from the other countries' practices, it was discovered that driving license obtained with automatic vehicles differs from the one when manual transmission vehicles are used. First, they need to have the law providing for such driving license enacted before a vehicle with automatic transmission can be used. Jirinjiro said that there will be two kinds of driving permits. One that will be given to someone who did the test using a car with a manual mode, and the other one to the person who used the car with the automated transmission. He indicated that there are fast-track stakeholders consultations for the draft law to be submitted to the other processes for final consideration and approval. The amendment of the law will follow various petitions in the past years requesting lawmakers to amend the laws that govern driving license to be able to allow the use of automated cars. For instance, a petition by a private citizen to Parliament in April 2018 sought to amend the law on the acquisition of a driving license to allow for the use of automatic cars. The petitioner, Frank Shumbusho, among others, argued that there are many people who own automatic cars and know how to drive them, but they are unable to do so because sitting for the driving exam requires one to know the manual car. The current law only recognizes manual cars while conducting driving license, and any change to that effect would require changing the law. The current adjustments appear to be following technological trends in the automobile industry, with some car manufacturers completely ditching production of the manual cars. Felix reports.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. Welcome back. Now, Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading session recorded a turnover of 860,733,000 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in two deals on the fixed income market and 61,429,400 from 245,100 shares traded in four deals on equities market. Bank of Kigali closed the counter at 270 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a turnover of 54 million Rwandan francs from 200,000 shares traded in one deal. Braigua closed the counter at 165 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a turnover of 7,429,400 Rwandan francs from 45,100 shares traded in three deals on the equities market. The equities counters closed with I&M Bank at 43 Rwandan francs. Smergwa at 120 Rwandan francs, MTN Rwanda at 177 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.5 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.7 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 and the selling price was 0.44. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.263 and the selling price was 0.268. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,020 and the selling price was 1,040. The British pound buying price was 1,232 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,257. The euro buying price was 1,040 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,060 Rwandan francs.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
The Kenya Electoral Commission has said 12.065 million Kenyans had voted by 4 p.m. with only 1 hour left to the official polling station's closing time of 5 p.m. According to the Commission, the figure, which represents 56.17% voter turnout, excludes the number of voters identified through the main register and those who are still in queues as at 4 p.m. Vote counting has started at all polling stations. To ensure transparency, the media, political parties, and civil society groups have been urged to run their own tallies using final results declared at the more than 40,000 polling stations. Finally, the Electoral Commission will declare the winner of the presidential election after verifying the physical and digital forms sent to the National Tallying Center. Addressing a Security Council open debate on peace in Africa, an African Union commissioner called for renewed efforts to sustain security gains amid rising violence. Civil societies and NGOs regularly sound the alarm over rising violence in Africa. Each month it sees its share of attacks by terror groups or Islamist insurgents as armed conflicts continue to destroy thousands of lives. The African Union Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security alerted that the threat of violent extremism and terrorism continued to loom heavily over the continent and the world at large. Bankole Adeoye pleaded for renewed effort to promote peace as he addressed a Security Council open debate. Adeoye said to the Council that the African Union Commission was willing to continue its implementation of the African Union Agenda 2063 and the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which will enable the continent to build capacities to sustain peace. Tennis legend Serena Williams, a 23-time Grand Slam winner, has announced plans to retire from the sport. She said via her Instagram page on day that she has to focus on being a mom, her spiritual goals, and finally discovering a different but just as exciting Serena. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.